On this Monday night, a GTA cabinet minister resigns as the fallout from the SNC-Lavalin controversy continues. Jane Philpott steps down, citing a loss of confidence in the federal government. But does she have the support of her constituents in Markham-Stouffville? Plus,
puts a chill, I think, across anybody who's going to stand up to this government.
There was no political interference.
The OPP's deputy commissioner fired. The government saying tonight he's breached his oath of office, but the opposition isn't buying it. And
I just went for a sectional couch, and I was expecting delivery on Friday, and it never came. They never called. They don't answer their cell phone.
Money paid, goods not delivered. A Mississauga furniture shop closes its doors, leaving customers out of luck. Good evening, I'm Mike Wise. As you saw on The National, another major development in the ongoing SNC-Lavalin story. Jane Philpott, one of Justin Trudeau's most trusted cabinet ministers, resigning today, though she'll continue to stay on to represent her riding of Markham-Stouffville. The Prime Minister weighing in on that tonight during a visit to Toronto. Putting it all together for us, here's Adrian Chung with more.
The now former cabinet minister didn't hold back in her resignation letter. Jane Philpott saying she no longer has confidence in the Liberal government. She said today there can be a cost to acting on one's principles, but there is a bigger cost to abandoning them. In Philpott's home riding of Markham-Stouffville, many voters backing her stance.
I respect her for that. That's a good decision, and she'll probably earn our vote again.
The decision, I think, is one that's made from out of integrity.
Others asking questions of Philpott and the Trudeau-led government.
I'm also curious why she continues to represent the Liberal Party when she's publicly stated that she's no longer supporting her Prime Minister.
I'm not sure if he's going to survive.
The sudden resignation marks another twist in the deepening SNC-Lavalin affair for the Liberals. Former Attorney General Jody Wilson-Raybould testified before a committee last week, saying officials from the Prime Minister's office pressured her to override a decision to prosecute SNC-Lavalin. The opposition Tories beating the drum that the Trudeau-led government's time is up.
Jane Philpott's resignation from cabinet clearly demonstrates a government in total chaos.
The Prime Minister, tonight in Toronto, addressed this latest crisis to hit his government.
I know Ms. Philpott has felt this way for some time, and while I am disappointed, I understand her decision to step down, and I want to thank her for her service.
Philpott is remaining as the Liberal MP for Markham-Stouffville, but her sudden resignation is being felt here, especially in the wake of the ongoing SNC-Lavalin case. Voters are closely watching every twist and turn ahead of this fall's federal election. Adrian Chung, CBC News, Stouffville.
Now, as we said, the Prime Minister was in town tonight for a rally, finding it difficult at times to make himself heard at a climate action rally because of some hecklers there.
I want to thank her. It is a wonderful thing in Canada that we get together in public and exchange ideas and have a political discourse.
The Prime Minister speaking at the Danforth Music Hall for the event. He faced several interruptions from the crowd tonight, but continued to go ahead with his address. Well, to provincial politics now, the Ontario government has fired the Ontario Provincial Police Deputy Commissioner, saying tonight that he breached his oath of office. Brad Blair has been a critic of the PCs ever since Superintendent Ron Taverner was named OPP chief. Well, he went to court to try to force an investigation into that appointment. Now, Blair is out of a job. Lisa Shing reports.
This thing reeks.
It just smells fishy.
For opposition leaders, the firing of the OPP Deputy Commissioner has all the signs of political interference.
Every day, the stench gets stronger.
For months, controversy over the government appointing Ford family friend and Toronto Police Superintendent Ron Taverner as the next OPP commissioner has plagued the government. Deputy Commissioner Brad Blair, who didn't get the job, has been fiercely critical, especially since Taverner did not meet the job qualifications until they were changed. He's asked a court to order an investigation. In a letter to the Ombudsman, Blair blew the whistle on Ford's office commissioning a customized van, and Ford complaining about his OPP detail, all of which is considered confidential information. The Premier wasn't in the House today, though the Minister of Community Safety and Correctional Services denied she knew why Blair was fired.
I was notified. I was not asked for permission. I was not asked for advice. There was no advice requested. There was no political interference.
Less than an hour later, Jones said this in the House.
He released confidential, private information for his own personal gain. Mr. Blair breached his oath and appears to have breached the act.
But still not a lot of details on how the decision was made, just that she's putting the responsibility on this man, her Deputy Minister, Mario Di Tommaso.
Deputy Minister Di Tommaso is clearly in charge of the Public Safety Division of my ministry.
The Liberals are calling on the Justice Committee to ask him some questions.
How did he start this process? Why was he alone in putting forward this request? And what was the process that was followed to fire a deputy commissioner?
Neither Blair nor Di Tommaso have responded to requests for an interview. Meanwhile, the province's Integrity Commissioner continues to investigate Taverner's appointment. Lisa Shing, CBC News, Toronto.
Colette Kennedy's here with a first look at the forecast, and it's a forecast you can pretty much sum up with one word, can't you, Colette?
Yeah, pretty much. Balmy? No.
No, I don't.
Yeah. No, cold.
Cold.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at. It's not just for us here in Toronto. It's not just for the province. It's for much of the country. The jet stream taking a deep dive overnight tonight. We're talking about it feeling like minus 25 in terms of the wind chill factor. But these are the forecast daily highs I have for you over the next few days. So you see how many days we have to get through with this cold, these cold conditions. -8, the high anticipated for tomorrow. I've got okay, we'll come up a little bit, -7 as we go into Wednesday, midweek. Then by Thursday, it's receding a little bit. The jet stream here is going to let a little bit of milder air come in, especially Friday. We're up to the freezing mark, and then Saturday it moderates a bit around -2. So running well below seasonal, that's definitely the trend. To go along with it, fairly quiet conditions. We do have a weak system pushing in here through Tuesday, and as it comes through, that westerly wind means we'll see some light snow because of the moisture coming off the lakes. So scattered light snow, scattered flurries off and on through the day with that extreme cold weather alert in place. Very chilly conditions in the morning, especially because the winds will be still a little bit on the gusty side. Overnight tonight, -15, feeling almost like -25, and there it is, -8 tomorrow afternoon with a little bit of that light snow and those winds really making that wind chill a factor in the morning, Mike.
Going to be a cold one. Thanks, Colette.
You're welcome.
Well, one person is dead, another seriously injured after a 5-alarm fire ripped through an apartment above a barber shop on Bathurst, south of Richmond, early this morning.
Everything broke. Look at the window, gotta be replaced everything.
My neighbor banged on everyone's doors, said, "Get out, hurry up." I went down the front. It was so smoky I couldn't breathe, and then we just all went out. A bus came for shelter, and we all just kind of watched all our belongings burn down.
Now, the fire is believed to have started in a basement apartment just after 5:30 this morning. It then spread to a neighboring building. It took nearly 4 hours for firefighters to bring the blaze under control. Some of the other neighboring buildings were also damaged, and more than a dozen tenants were affected. The Ontario Fire Marshal's office is investigating the origin, cause, and circumstances surrounding the fire. And Toronto police are investigating a suspicious death of a man in North Toronto. They've arrested a 42-year-old man in connection with the incident. Paramedics were called for a medical emergency in the Eglinton and Mount Pleasant area around noon. When they arrived, they found the man was unconscious. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, police say the homicide unit has been notified, though the incident isn't being treated as a homicide. And a lockdown is continuing tonight at the Toronto South Detention Centre after 200 workers walked off the job. This follows a violent weekend with 2 guards saying they were attacked by inmates. Natalie Nanowski has more.
There's feces and urine being thrown on officers. There's officers being punched and assaulted.
Anson Humphreys says that's a daily occurrence at the detention center. He's been a correctional officer for 28 years.
I've never seen anything like it. I've only got 5 left. I don't know how these new people are going to do 40 years in this system.
Humphreys is one of dozens who walked off the job today after an incident this weekend where union reps say prison guards were assaulted by 2 inmates who had staged a fight.
When the unit officers attended the cell to investigate, those inmates turned on those officers and attacked them.
Union leaders say those officers are now off work, recovering from concussions. Toronto South Detention Centre is a maximum security correctional facility for adult men, serving 2-year sentences. It also holds those awaiting trial. It was home to serial killer Bruce MacArthur and is still where Alec Manassian is being held in solitary confinement. There are about 1,000 inmates inside, but union leaders say there's not enough staff.
We lose 2 staff members a week quitting due to the violence.
Guards also say they don't have much authority left to punish inmates for acting out.
We used to have segregation for 30 days. Now it's 15. We used to have certain things that you can take away from the inmates. Now you can't take anything.
The Ministry of Labour has now forced the guards back to work, saying that their grievance does not meet the Health and Safety Act. Their job action has also been reduced to a complaint. Union leaders have until Friday to produce a video of the attack to the Ministry of Labour so it can investigate. Natalie Nanowski, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, several people who paid for furniture at this store in Mississauga say it never arrived, and now they're out hundreds of dollars. Coming up, what we found when we got there. Stay with us. We have a story tonight of a couple caught between their insurance company and their local municipality. It's all after a tree fell onto their home. Their insurance company said it would give them money to rebuild, provided the work was completed this year. But now that's being jeopardized by a painstakingly slow permit process. Farah Morali has the story in the CBC Toronto exclusive.
This is Brian Carlson Graves' dream home, or at least it used to be. So this is your kitchen, or was your kitchen?
Living space, yeah. Just our great room, we call it.
In October 2017, a 25-meter ash tree fell on the roof during a windstorm. What Carlson Graves thought would be a straightforward repair through his home insurance quickly turned into a nightmare.
The township said there weren't any permits on this section of the house, so yeah. Kind of a surprise.
He learned 2/3 of this house was built without a permit, a decade before he bought it. On top of that, much of it wasn't even built properly.
There's only 2 deck screws holding up this main beam.
So sorry, you're saying there's only two screws holding up? 2 screws connecting
this post to the wall, so it easily separated when the tree hit.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a miracle it didn't go further.
So the entire home has to be demolished.
Yeah, they're concerned now from what they saw, they're concerned about the rest of the house.
What was supposed to be just a few months in this rental cottage for Carlson Graves and his partner has now been a year and a half as they wait for permits to rebuild.
It'll be up to the city in terms of timelines and how long that takes, but it sounds like it's a bit of a process.
But with new bylaws in their township, it's uncertain they'll get them at all.
So they have concerns about setback from the lake, and all of those have been recently updated to kind of exclude any building within 100 feet from the lake. The entire property is only 100 feet.
To make it worse, the 2-year deadline on their insurance claim is about to expire in October.
We'll be lucky if we have permits by that date, let alone finding a contractor and starting construction.
Mal Andrukolo reached out to their insurer, Aviva, asking for an extension, but was told over email there are no exceptions.
It's one thing to be out of the house for this long, but then to also add the fact that we might not be able to rebuild it with the money that we thought we were going to have was shocking.
No one from the township of Scugog would speak to us for an interview. They told us in an email they're still waiting for more documents to move ahead with the permitting process. But when we contacted Aviva, they changed their messaging. They are now saying that they're open to the possibility of talking about an extension with the couple. They've asked them to contact them a little bit closer to the deadline to see how that could work. At this point, though, they're not guaranteeing anything. Farah Morelli, CBC News, Toronto.
To Mississauga now, where customers of a furniture store are complaining to us they didn't get their orders, leaving some out hundreds of dollars. Young's Fine Furniture has a storefront and advertises online, but as Talia Ricci tells us, when people tried contacting them, they didn't get a response.
These people have business cards, website, they're on Facebook.
And Young's Fine Furniture in Mississauga also has a storefront. Tatiana Lopez is among several customers who experienced this.
I just went for a sectional couch and I was expecting delivery on Friday and it never came. They never called. They don't answer their cell phone.
We ordered some other like our bedroom set and our dining set. We didn't receive those.
So this is what happens when you try calling the store.
The mailbox belonging to...
Thank you for calling Young's Fine Furniture. Please leave a message after the tone and we'll get back to you within a business day.
Is full and cannot...
I also messaged them on Facebook and I even responded to one of their Kijiji ads and nothing. And so we came here to see what was going on. And when you walk up to the door, it's locked. And when you look inside, it looks like everything in here has been cleared out. The building's landlord told CBC Toronto their lease was up at the end of February. Neighboring businesses say angry customers have been showing up the last few days. Now those who are out of money are reflecting on the shady exchanges at the store.
He said if we paid through cash that they deduct all the taxes. So it saved me about $50. So I didn't have cash on me and he said I could email transfer it to him.
Give us cash, $1,000 cash and $300 e-transfer. That's what I did on that day. So for $1,000, I don't even have a receipt that I give them the $1,000 in cash.
Customers have been going online to warn others, but they say unless they take the time to go to court, they don't think they'll be seeing their money anytime soon.
I was trying to calm my husband down because he was saying that it's a hard-earned money and they ran away with our money and I'm not even taking the vacation. It's $1,100 and it's right now it's my half-month salary.
Peel police say the company is being investigated. Talia Ricci, CBC News, Mississauga.
With a bone-chilling week still ahead, warmer temperatures are expected to kick off March break. Our Colette Kennedy is back with the long-range forecast after the break.
The weather update is brought to you by Train Extreme Conditions Testing. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand.
The Leafs with a late match in Calgary tonight. First period, Toronto on a power play. Jake Muzzin spots Tyler Ennis. He roofs in his 10th of the year in the backhand. Now under 3 to play in the period, Ennis once again, watch this, he'll loop in from behind the net, bouncing it off Rasmus Anderson and floating in over David Bridget. Goes on to score his 2nd of the game right there. Now, just a few minutes later, Mitch Marner picks off the pass, breaks in all alone. Pritchard turns it away, but Zach Hyman follows up. The puck actually goes off his skate and in. The goal would survive a review. Right now in the third, the Leafs are up 5-1. Ennis now actually has a hat trick. Colette is back with her extended forecast. I know next week is March break, Colette. I'm wondering how many people are going for those last-minute deals this week, saying, just get me out of here. It is so cold this week.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of sales going on because of people wanting to just escape this weather if you possibly can. You know, our record high, can you believe 13.3 when it's like it is outside that it gets to that temperature? But it does. It did back in 1974. Average high at this time of year now would be almost, we'd round that up to 2 degrees. We can't quite get there. Overnight tonight, we are looking at the skies kind of clearing a bit and then clouds rolling back in for tomorrow morning and some pockets where we're going to be seeing off and on through the day of some light snow or flurry activity. We've got a weak system coming through, not a lot of moisture here, but with the lakes, we'll see that westerly flow giving us a bit of precipitation here and there throughout the day. And then it starts to, as the winds weaken, as the day wears on, starts to let up a little bit. And then into Wednesday, I'm still keeping a 30% chance of seeing some flurries on that day. You can see there just a little bit of action, but otherwise it is a bit of a trend where things will improve once we get past Wednesday, past Thursday especially, because then we get some sunshine at the end of the week. But overnight tonight, feeling like minus 22 for southwestern Ontario again. Those scattered areas of seeing a little bit of light precipitation. We're talking about a dusting, not significant accumulation. And tomorrow, those winds stronger in the morning hours, minus 6, minus 7, the daytime highs. The winds overnight tonight, not letting up much, a little bit through the overnight, but then picking up again tomorrow. And we'll find the wind chill then overnight is almost minus 25, as I was saying. In some areas, it will be, in fact, a little bit further to the north. And look at this for tomorrow. These are the daytime highs. These are still cool, even for overnight lows, if they were overnight lows. The 5-day forecast, then, we kind of showed you a peek at that earlier in the show in terms of when things will let up. Winter will let up a little bit and start to warm up, and that's towards the end of the week. So mix of sun and cloud Thursday, minus 5, Friday up to freezing. Wow, won't that be nice? With mostly sunny skies and sunshine into Saturday as well. So it is looking a little bit better into that part of the weekend. Second half of the weekend, we could see another storm system moving through, though, Mike. Oh, for everyone leaving away, they'll avoid that snow after they avoid this cold. Yes, exactly. Thanks a lot, Colette. My pleasure. Bye. So why are these students donning iconic superhero attire? Well, it's a fundraiser all in the name of inclusion. We'll explain after the break.
Well, students at a school in Leaside were soaring through the halls today for the annual Capes for Kids fundraiser. It raises awareness around the challenges faced by disabled youth, with money for the Holland Bloorview Kids Rehabilitation Hospital being raised.
Today is the first day of our third annual Capes for Kids, and we were really excited to launch it with the students at North Lee.
You're supposed to wear a cape and donate so they can buy specialized equipment like prosthetic limbs.
Disability stigma is something that we want to create conversation about. So in addition to raising lots of money, we have people in fantastic capes all over the city having conversations about inclusion this week, and that's pretty powerful, and we couldn't be more grateful.
And we have messages on our capes. Mines are include everybody, even if they have disabilities.
When we arrived at Bloorview, Zion was paralyzed head to toe, internally, externally. And once we settled in, physios started and they were able to get Zion mobile again. And all of the therapists there are as encouraging as the parents are. They're just as motivated and they push the kids just as hard as the parents do. We've come a long way with lots of encouragement, lots of work, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And we still have outpatient physio, so we still have blocks of therapy where we attend and still try and strengthen all of our muscles and body parts that still need help.
It's hard. It is hard.
It is. But we do it right.
No doubt difficult. Some great stories from that hospital there. Well, before we go, have you ever wondered what a raptor eats? Not the dinosaurs, but the basketball team or the basketball players. Tomorrow on Metro Morning, Matt Galloway will be speaking with the team's performance nutritionist and dietitian, talking about how she works with the players, the team's therapists, and their chefs to keep all the players in top form. You can listen to that after the 7:30 news on CBC Radio 1. I'll see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Good night.